everybody. So today we are going to have a quick discussion or basically a walkthrough CS or the customer service agent management report. So what I'll do today is I'll be showing you how to complete the report on a day-to-day basis. Okay. It's actually very simple. Just have to pull. You just have to export data from Freshness and from Hubstaff, and you just basically paste it in certain locations within the report, and then you're good to go. If you're ready, let me show that to you now. Hold on. Okay, so this your basically this report is here specific team leaders to be able to, and your manager of course, to be able to properly monitor and measure your agent's key performance indicators we talked about during the agent scorecard launch. So today, I'm going to show you how to complete the different sheets that are required. Okay, let's first start off with attendance. Okay, so basically this sheet measures or is your attendance tracking sheet. Okay. The data that you'll be plugging here will be coming from your Hubstaff report. Okay. Right, but before we go to that, let me just give you a brief explanation of what the different columns are. Hold on. Okay, so let's start with the date. Okay, so for the date, if you are going to complete the report, you're supposed to pull it by the end of the day. All right, so let's say it's Monday. It's a Monday shift, so the shift date is November 27th. Okay. Obviously, when the end of a Monday shift would be a Tuesday in Manila, right? But for reporting purposes, you're supposed to put there the shift date, not the date or not the date today. Okay, so instead of putting there November 28th, today you put there November 27th, which is your Monday shift. Okay. Next is agent name, right? So if you look at the validation, right, these are names that will be accepted by your attendance sheet. Okay. If it's written here in the validation sheet as mailing liaison, you cannot, the attendance sheet will not accept if you actually put there the middle initial. So if the report extracts that, please make sure to remove that here or the sheet will not accept it. Okay. I'll show that to you later. Ours is an export Hubstaff actually computes that already, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll just show you how to convert it into hours. Okay. Freshness hours is data that is also readily available, which is computed via the query that we will actually run later. But freshness hours is basically a summary of your time tracked. Remember the time tracking feature that your agents are doing? Hours basically just sums up all the time track based on the shift date that you actually report here. Okay. Next would be forecasted hours. Forecasted hours is the assumption is an agent. If an agent is forecasted to come in A, then that would mean that she would be required to be logged in to Hubstack for 8 hours, a minimum of 8 hours. She's asked to go on OT. Okay. Now there would come a time where um, you, the supervisor or the manager, would actually solicit voluntary time offs or VTOs or what we call flex outs. Let's say there are, the volume of tickets for a certain, or let's say for the last 3 hours of the shift is expected to be very, very low, and there are no ad hoc projects available. Basically means that, we would actually have to send agents, log out agents earlier to actually save on cost. In those types of cases, that what you have to do here is you actually have to manually plug the forecasted hour of that agent for that day. Let's say the agent um, was put on VTO 3 hours before the end of his shift. It would only mean that the forecasted hours would have to be manually inputted here, which is 5 hours. Next is column F. Column F is this is your team leader. So again, it's just based on the validation sheet here that actually matches an agent to a team leader. The only reason why that's there is for reporting purposes, which I'll also show you later. Miss hours. This is actually computed by subtracting forecasted hours minus your logged hours. Let's say an agent was late for 1 hour. That would simply be reflected by, let's say she's expected to report for 8 hours. Logged hours would only show 7, then would show 1 hour missed here. That would automatically compute. Same goes for overtime hours. Any minute, any hour that is reflected beyond 8 hours will be reflected as overtime hours. Please take note. In there are agents who actually do not log out at exactly their 8 hour. It is expected that part of proper logins is for you to log in and log out exactly on your 8 hour. Okay, so please remind your agents that. Now, if an agent is reflecting a log hour of 9, please do not input 9 here. Please only input 8 and kindly coach your agent um, that he or she should not be exceeding unless it is unapproved overtime, which will require the the, the department head to approve it. And then finally, under attendance, you would actually have their fresh desk occupancy. So fresh desk occupancy simply measures how long an agent is logged into fresh desk but is basically not doing anything. So that's how occupancy, that's what fresh desk occupancy. This is reflected in a percentage form. Okay. Okay, so let me show you how it's done. Okay, so at the end of each day, we would actually pull a report from Hubstaff. Okay. We don't need to plot it one by one. If you go to Hubstaff, let me share my screen to you. Okay, hold on. And then in Hubstaff, you will see there under reports, and then time and activity. And then you're gonna see their date. So just choose a date. Let's say the 27th. 27th, and then you can apply. And then what we're looking for are the only the hours. So choose their team, put their customer service, and then just put their names of agents. So just choose the name of the agent that you want to report, and then choose apply, and then there's actually an export function. See that? It's going to give the time depending on who you look for. You choose an export, and then if you choose an export, it's going to ask you if you want to save it in PDF or save it in CSV. Okay. And then let me show you how it's going to look like when you hit an export. Here's how it's going to look like. So initially, it's going to look like this one, only this one. You're going to have there the date, and you're going to have there the name that you actually exported, and then you're going to have there a time. But please take note, the time that you're seeing here is actually in time format, specifically duration format, and we have to convert this to hours. So how do we do that? It's actually very simple. For you to do that, just have to input a simple formula, which is you actually just have to multiply this by 24, and that should convert it to hours. Why 24? You're just basically converting it to 24 hours in one day, right? So once you have that, okay, please take note I separated the supervisor time because um, what we're currently working on is agent API trackers. Okay. So now that we have this, we just have to copy this, okay, in this one, copy it, then please go back to this one. You just have to right click and then paste values only. Hold on, I think I pasted in the wrong field here. One more time. Okay. Sadly copied the other one, so let me just fix this. It should be here. Okay, let me check. Alright, so we got it. One thing you'll notice is that it's actually telling that this specific agent's name is invalid. Why? Because in our validation, this girl does not have a middle initial. So we actually just have to remove that part. And it's over. Yeah. Alright, so let us do a quick check. This girl worked for 7.02 hours. However, she was required to work for 8 hours. That's why she's actually reflecting a miss hour of that 98. Okay, so that's basically how it works. Next here. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Just have to copy and then paste it. Okay, next. Up to FD hours later because that would actually be part of your HT report that we will be pulling later. Okay. But basically for now, we actually have tagged already all the agents that work for the specific day. You just have to check, like in this case, this agent is showing an overtime 1 hour. So if this is not approved, then this agent definitely needs to be coached because she's not supposed to be clocking in 9 hours. In this case, we'll just manually replace it to 9 hours. Just please take note that, or 8 hours. Please just take note that this agent should not be. Here's another example. This agent went on, overtime for that 25 minutes. When in fact, if this, I'm assuming that this is not approved, I haven't seen any approval for OT. Also, given that the current volume that we have, to manually put this here as 8. If I was the supervisor here, I would simply take note of that, and then and then coach the agent, and then remind the agent that we're not supposed to be clocking in more than 8 hours. Yes, I, the supervisor, got the approval of the manager or the head to actually give the agent permission to go on OT. Okay. All right. So we'll leave this the D column and the I column for now, and then we'll move on to quality. For quality, this one is actually pretty much straightforward. You'll be auditing your agents. So one audit per agent per week. And this one simply measures or keeps track of your audits. Right? So let me show you how it's done. So I'm required to do 3 audits for the agents, or I mean I have 3 agents. Let's say I'm Josh. So I'll choose a date today, date that I started auditing, 28. I'll choose my agent's name. Let's say Ashrita Boktoy. Let's say I'm done auditing her. I of course have a score. Let's say she actually got a perfect score. I just put here 100. Then I choose my name, and if there's a critical error, then I put here why was it a critical error based on the form. If not, then that's it. Let's say I did another audit for my next agent. Let's say it's my Lisa, and she got a score of 95. And also put there my name. Not sure why this one is showing that. Let me fix that after this one. Okay? And then so on and so forth. So just choose again, let's say my third agent. You could then she gets a score of 80. Okay, and I'll just my name. That's it. What happens here is that um, this actually as part of your compliance based on that would show that would actually not show here, okay, but would show in a different report, which is in the TL compliance report. Okay, this one would actually show you scores on a weekly basis for each agent. That would be reflected once you actually have weekly data array. Okay. Next, so that's basically it for quality. Just put everything there on a weekly basis. Once you're done, you just leave it there. Then go back to it again next week once you start auditing. What's important here is that you actually keep track. You already have a centralized tracker, and please make sure to always track it here. Okay. Okay. Next would be productivity. Productivity. So under productivity, you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. First one would be the date, similar to the attendance. Agent name, which also uses the same agent validation. You actually have their tickets completed, which is basically all the tickets that an agent was able to complete. This includes pending, this includes close, and yeah, pending and close. We're also looking at assigned tickets. I think one significant difference with assigned tickets is that this one includes open tickets. So how do we determine ticket types? We're using the status column, right? Tickets completed are of course those that are closed and those that are actually pending. We consider pending tickets as also as completed, as long as everything that should have done that agent from an agent's scope of work was already completed. Um, HT is basically an average of your total time track per agent. Leader simply assigns a team leader to an agent based on the validation. And completion rate basically just checks, how many tickets we're able to complete in percentage form. So how do we complete the productivity? That's where this sheet comes in. Okay, this is actually our query sheet. What happens here is that you're going to see your columns H to M. Okay, this is actually where typically in H1 you're actually going to plug the extracted data. Okay, so you're actually going to see their steps one, step two, step three, step four. And basically, what we're going to do is you're actually going to extract tickets from Freshdesk via via the ticket screen. Okay, and you're actually going to choose only the following fields, which is ticket ID. Let me show you the report. I have a sample report that I actually extracted. This one. Okay, is the sample report. Let me check if you guys can actually see it. Let's see it. Hold on. Let me see my screen here. Okay, so here it is. This is the sample ticket. I mean the sample export. So you're gonna see their ticket ID, the status, followed by agent name, followed by the group, created time in the time tracker. So you have one, two, three, four, five, six. These are the only six columns that you need. Add another one and do not remove any of the columns here, or you're actually gonna have problems with the query. Okay, so they were able to extract this, and you actually one thing to consider is that whenever you extract created time, it's actually gonna have time there. Here, it's not just gonna show created time. So you actually have to remove that. That's actually very easy. If you wanted to remove that, there is a function in Excel called text to columns. So let's say this one, just have to choose text to column, and then what this does is you can actually remove um, non, other data such as time. There are different ways to do it depending on how data is reflected. If it's a space, in this case it's a space because when you export the report, it will show you a date, space, and then a time. So what you need to do is fix with, and then hit next, and then there's going to be options there. So I can show that to you outside the video if you're having trouble. But basically, what we're looking for is just the date, not the time. Okay. From here, if you already have this, remember we're putting it by date, one shift date. This should actually be 27, but I'm actually showing it as a 28. So that's fine. The next thing you need to do is we just need to copy this. We copy all this, Control C. Then we just need to go back to our prod query or the production query. Okay. Each one, we just need to paste special and then paste values on it. Oh, it should be 27. Sorry. Should not be on the 28. This should be 27 because when you actually pull this in the morning, it should be on the 27. Sorry. So let's just say that I pulled this and it shows 27. You actually will have the option to pull this per date. So if you're pulling for a Monday shift, then we're not supposed to be pulling 28. We're supposed to be pulling 27. Okay, let me do that again. Let's see if that's gonna work. Okay, so alright. So once we do that, if you actually notice, this query form will actually reflect The agent's ticket completed, the agent's assigned tickets, and the agent's PhD for that day. Alright? Okay, so what we need to do now is we actually just need to copy this one. Agent name, tickets completed, tickets assigned. Agent's name, tickets completed, tickets assigned, followed by the agent. Okay? If we go here, pay special, and then values. And then 27, and paste that in. And there you go. So you're actually done with today's productivity tracking. Activity completed, HT. Just reflect this to 2. Well, this should be reflected to only 2. Let me. Okay, so today April Judge Romero had HD of 11. Okay, completion rate of 100. See, automatically fills up everything. What you just have to remember is to make sure that the columns that are here, you're not supposed to add an additional column, or else, yeah, we'll actually have a problem. Okay. Next, me call it and okay, hold on. Just a second. Let me just fix this part. Okay. All right. Remember a while ago, I mentioned that in attendance, you're also gonna have to input the freshness hours, and the freshness occupancy will automatically compute. So how do we do that? So in that same query, you just have to match if the match is the names. You have to make sure that it's so. My first thing here is April de Bonero. Okay, so good. Arian, see there's a difference. Arian is not reflected. Do you see that? Why? Because the date is different. That's why whenever you pull data, everything has to be done at the end of the day so that everything matches. Let's just assume that this is on the 27th. Oh, no need for quality, just for attendance. Let's say this is let's copy the name. You can just do it manually, like you can just use just a few names. Like say for example, April Get Momo had 1.48 hours today. FE, okay, 1.48. And that would automatically compute occupancy. Um, Next would be Momo. Fortunately, Momo is not showing any freshness hours. Today, which is what's it? 27. So let's just say that maybe he was not around 27. Let's just change this to 27. Just for this purpose. Let's just she shows it. So what that means is that um out of 2 hours or out of 7 hours that Arian was logged into Hubstaff today, she only spent 2 hours working on fresh test, okay, which is why it's showing here that their fresh test occupancy is close to 72 hours. So that's how you interpret it. Okay, so then you will be getting that here. And once you plug in everything, you're gonna have attendance data, you're gonna have quality data, you're gonna have productivity data. It will actually roll up once you actually have week-to-week data. Your charts will now start to reflect. At this point, it's not really reflecting anything yet because it's actually waiting for a week's worth of data or 2 weeks worth of data to compare. So that's basically it. You just have to complete this at the end of each day. It's basically just two reports that you actually have to pull, which is your tickets export and the hub staff in your hub staff report. Super easy. The other things that you'll be seeing here is we actually added a consequence management tracker. Part of the initiatives that is being launched is that agents would now be issued sanctions for those that are not compliant to certain KPIs. It's just a basic data entry tracker where you actually put there the date that you gave or you issued the sanction. It's gonna automatically compute 6 months after. Okay? And put there an agent name, let's say this girl, and then just put there who issued, say it's Josh, and then the type of sanction, and then for what KPI. That's it. It's just gonna track for you so that you actually have it's very important to track sanctions, since if you actually have different trackers, you tend to forget that hey, this girl is already at written warning for productivity. And let's say next month she doesn't pass again, then yeah, let's say you issue another one, and then you would know that oh, I have to escalate this to the next. Okay, right? Cool. So I guess that's basically it for today's walkthrough. As you can see, it's actually not really complicated. It's just exporting two reports and then copying and pasting. But the important thing is you actually do this religiously. You just have to export it every day and then do it a day, and you'll be fine. Okay, all right. So we'll have a separate video that would actually show cards or actually link to this one. But that's gonna be a very short video because um, it's actually the scorecard is actually connected in such a way that every time you add an entry here, it automatically computes there. So there's really nothing much you have to do there except for changing monthly operators. That's pretty much very easy. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I hope that we were able to, or I was able to properly explain the agent KPR report. Thank you and have a nice day.